6 wins, and a lot of second place finishes are some stats we've got with the 41 car for Stewart Haas Racing. And today it has been announced that we have signed a 1-season extension with the 41 car. There you see the article there. It was also noted from SHR that Owen will not be in the car after next season, so he will have time to look into other options. So there you hear it there. We will be back in the 41 car for one more season before we switch over to the 2020 DLC. So basically next season will be our last season before we switch over to the 2020 DLC, and we'll have all of next season to figure out where we're going for then, and we will have a replacement, and we'll name that driver next season. So we're going to get straight into the action here at Talladega.
We're live at Talladega for the 1000bulbs.com 500. The playoffs are in full swing, and for those drivers in the playoffs, a win today would clinch a spot in the next round. Which drivers will steer clear of trouble and visit victory lane? Let's go down to the track and find out. NASCAR Racing is next.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. It's finally nice to have our contract situation figured out going into next season, because we only had a 2-season contract, and now we have it signed for a 1-season extension. So very excited to be back with the 41 car. We don't have to worry for another season, but we have all of next season to figure out what we're going to do going into that 2020 DLC, where it's confirmed we will not be back in the 41 car after next season. Now as the green flag is out, and we are underway at Talladega Superspeedway. Obviously there was no qualifying attempt because we would have qualified last anyways, so we just straight up skipped qualifying here in Talladega. So obviously this being the second race of the round of 12, we had a very solid effort at Dover, including a stage victory at the beginning of stage 1, so that helped us out a lot in points to where we have now over a 30-point buffer above that cut line. We came into this round only 13 points to the good, so definitely this will be very helpful here, as we now know that if we get caught up in a wreck or something today in Talladega, it's not going to be a huge deal, but hopefully we don't have to worry about crashing the car and going multiple laps down or something due to the DNF system we run now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4. Though on this opening lap, Alex Bone at this point leading the way as he came out of turns 4, as obviously we're just going to try and play it safe. We usually never actually get stage points in the first stage at these plate tracks because we start so far back and then we have to find our way throughout the field. So usually stage 1 is just trying to get up inside, hopefully the top 20, to set ourselves up well for that second stage there. As you see the 96 of Parker Kligerman, who was on the outside at that point there, has come through now on lap 2. Eric Almirola running P32, as obviously right now we got all 3 of our Stewart Haas Racing teammates on the outside of the cut line trying to make it in now, as we would continue getting to the back of Clint Boyer there, as we actually nearly turned him through the trial there, as I was trying to get linked up behind him to help him, because we know we need to help our teammates to try and get in to that round of 8, but we got up on this outside with Boyer and fallen down to P27, but we would continue on lap 6 now, closing in on the back of Jimmy Johnson as we went down towards turns 3, getting to the back of him as a caution would come out for the first time here today in Talladega. I could not find who actually caused this incident, but obviously this would set us up for a restart a little bit past the halfway point here in stage 1 now, as the green flag is back out on lap 8 of 13 in the first stage. Behind us we got 2 of our SHR teammates of Eric Almirola and Clint Boyer. There was a lot of rumors swirling around a while back that we might be replacing Clint Boyer in a bit of a swap where Daniel Suarez was hoping to come in, but now it's confirmed Daniel Suarez will not be in the 41 car next season. It's just not a good restart at all for myself there. After I got into the back of Jimmy Johnson, it just slowed me up quite significantly, and we fell down to P30 here on this restart as we go down this back straightaway. Boyer drives by the 18 to Kyle Busch. Just behind me is Busch. If he just has a decent finish today, then Kyle Busch will mathematically lock himself in to the round of 8 here after Talladega as we go down into turns 3. Logano 3 wide with Kyle Busch in the 34 of Michael McDowell, now the 51 of BJ McLeod. There, as you see, the 42 of Kyle Larson on that far outside lane. It was rumored that we might be replacing Larson too throughout this season, as he was thinking about going into the Dirt Series full time, but clearly he has decided different and wants to have another shot, as his first 2 seasons in our career mode for the Cup Series has not gone well at all for Kyle Larson. He's missed the playoff both times, but we come through now to the final lap of stage 1. Still running the inside lane here was we got Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola just around us. They're not going to get stage points, and they desperately need stage points, so very unfortunate for them, but I decided to pounce to the inside of Clint Boyer down this back straightaway, but he clears me there as the draft just wasn't working as well as I had hoped there down that back straightaway. So go down into turn 3 and turns 4. It's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. leading the way on the final lap here in stage 1, as he's a very good driver at these plate tracks. Certainly causes some incidents here and there, unfortunately for him. Now as we go down this front straightaway for the final time in stage 1 on the back of the 2 of Keselowski, we look up to the higher side, and now we just stay in line behind the 2 as we get ahead of Jamie McMurray, coming through to cross the line side by side with Keselowski, but it's P13 here in stage 1. Alex Bowman just in front of us in P11. I believe another driver on the outside looking in, so he definitely is in need of stage points as well, and he did not get any there as well in stage 1, as we would pit for 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires to get ready to go green here for stage 2. Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman side by side in front of us as we get ready to start the second stage here in Talladega. Chase Elliott won last episode at Dover, locking himself into the round of 8, so we know Elliott's going to be one of our competitors next round if we make it that far now, as we are underway here for the second stage. Only 10 laps here in stage 2, so fairly short stage here in Talladega, as Elliott's going to get aggressive, taking it 3 wide with Denny Hamlin and the 8 of Daniel Hemrick, and we get taken 3 wide as well. Now we're forced all the way to the outside as we come through the center of the corner. A very aggressive restart from many drivers. There's a bunch of guys on this third lane, so it was all over the place here on this restart here in stage 2. Now as we go down this back straightaway, hoping that we just don't get caught up in a mess there, as it's a lot safer to be up here on the top than it is the middle, so I wasn't too concerned at this point. Now as we go down into turn 3, Bubba Wallace on the inside, as I was just kind of hoping I could find an opportunity to get to the bottom, but we come through now on lap 2 of the stage. Still no chance of getting to that bottom lane, so I was just running behind the 8 of Daniel Hemrick, obviously a great friend of ours here in our career mode, as we had a little bit of an issue with him earlier this season after the Daytona July races. We go pushing him down the back straightaway into turns 3, as I was still just hoping I could get an opportunity to get to the bottom, but everyone was just kind of just going in a train by us on the inside, as it was certainly quite a bit tricky to get to that bottom lane now, as we were just stuck up here waiting for the right opportunity, as we just kind of see what we could do here. As we actually go 4 wide, it looks like up the middle, then I actually stalled out, so I just drop it in once again behind Daniel Hemrick as we cross the line, completing the second lap, now down to P27. So certainly not the restart we were hoping for, but we finally were able to at least get down to that middle lane as we came through turns 1 and turns 2, going 3 wide up the middle between the 2 RCR drivers, and then we would finally be able to get to the bottom and climb back up to P23 behind Alex Bowman. Now on lap 4, as Bowman's having an issue into turns 3, and that's going to bring out a caution. It looks like a tire issue it is from the Hendrick Motorsports driver. Alex Bowman, the driver who's been leading the Hendrick Motorsports Club all season long, has had issues here in this round of 12. That sends him to the bank. I can confirm he did not DNF. Alex Bowman is still in this race and still has an opportunity to get whatever points he can before it's over now, as we get ready to go green here once again on the outside lane. The outside on restart is just terrible. Sometimes under green flag conditions you can make the outside work a little bit, just not as much as you would hope for. I would still like to see a lot of improvement in the next NASCAR Heat game with pack racing. Now as Harvick is certainly the odd one out, we go 4 wide up the middle here. Harvick gets kind of messed over as we're 3 wide on the outside as we slam into the bank of the 47. A huge momentum kill there as we make contact. Now as we're 4 wide, he hits us again into the outside wall, and now we got trouble as we get ricocheted down into the 22, the 3, the 4. Harvick goes spinning behind us as we hang on to the car. A couple cars involved as that brings out the yellow and ends the second stage there, as the 47 just kind of kept pinballing and nailed me into the wall a couple times to the point where I just lost it. I lost control of the car and unfortunately hit the 22. The 4 of Harvick got the worst part of that incident, and that will really mess him up now, as we got lucky to not really pick up any damage from that. Surprisingly, Jamie McMurray wins the stage here in stage 2, as we had actually lost 3 positions on the pit stop, so certainly not the race so far that we've been hoping for here in Talladega. And now it's certainly becoming pretty evident that we're really lucky that we had as good of a race as we did in Dover, because now we have had 2 stages without any points. Now is the third and final stage that was underway, only 22 laps to go. As we get to the back of the 14 hours, we're going to go 4 wide up the middle here as these restarts continue to get really aggressive. I saw Hemrick making the move, but then I saw how slow the 14 was, so I dived to the inside. We went 4 wide there for a moment, and now we kind of mess over our teammate of Clint Boyer as we exit turn 2, as these restarts just not have gone our way at all here today in Talladega. But hopefully we can turn things around there as we throw a big block on the 20 of Eric Jones. I heavily underestimated the momentum the 20 was carrying, and I threw my car right down in front of his, so thankfully he slowed down. Otherwise that could have went severely wrong, as it's Alex Bowman leading the way at this point here in Talladega. As I tried to go up the middle now as we exit turn 4, and then Jones is actually able to get to my inside now as we go down this front straightaway coming through the tribal, as now Landon Castle is going to come through as well on the inside. Castle obviously won the Daytona 500 earlier this season in our career mode, so we know he can at least get around a plate track pretty well now and be somewhat competitive as we go down into turns 1 but certainly need to find our way forwards as quickly as possible as we get aggressive there, making it 3 wide with the 00 and the 32 for a brief moment there of Castle and Corey LaJoy. Now go down this back straightaway up in P28. Kyle Busch behind us. Kyle Busch hasn't been having a great race either, so we've been kind of similar, but we would climb our way up inside the top 20, running this bottom lane now up to P17 on the inside of the 21 of Paul Menard, as it was actually the 12 of Ryan Blaney who had taken the lead for a brief amount of time as we continue to climb our way forwards, passing Eric Almirola. Now up inside the top 15 as a caution would actually come out for Eric Almirola potentially. Now as he is pitting, and obviously we did not have to come to the pit lane at this point, because if we did pit, we still wouldn't be able to make it on field, so we decided to stay out with the rest of the field. Now as the green flag though is back out, and once again we are underway at this point. Going to be 13 laps to go once we cross the line, and now we find ourselves in the top 15. This is really, I think, the highest we've been running all day, so all of a sudden with 13 laps to go, we might have a chance to make something happen here in the closing laps. 3 wide already as we go down into turns 1. These restarts have been pretty chaotic here today in Talladega now, as we're still going to go 3 wide with Ryan Truex. Chase Elliott now is just 3 by 3 behind us now, as these AI at Talladega at least do not hesitate to go 3 wide on these restarts. And I certainly felt like in the past NASCAR heat games, Daytona was always the better plate race, but now it really feels like Talladega is the better plate race than Daytona in NASCAR Heat 4. Now as the plate races though, the AI at plate tracks still could definitely use some work. Now as we come through turns 3 and turns 4, they're going 3 wide in front of us, the 31 and the 47 there, as you see Newman up there as well in the mix now as we go down through this tribal. So a lot of drivers that aren't usually up here definitely are going to have a chance to win here today in Talladega. Now as we're going to go 4 wide for a brief moment with the 47, the 11 and the 6. Now as we go down into turns 1 and we make it work for now. Newman, he is falling back quite quickly, but we would continue now on lap 36 up into P7 at this point as we would continue through on this inside lane. We're kind of just pushing us through now into P5 as behind us it was Elliott and Ty Dillon. Side by side as a caution though comes out again with 10 laps to go. This time everybody was coming to the pit lane, so obviously we have to come to the pit lane with them. I decided we're going to do about a can and a half of fuel, and then we would actually take 2 tires here in the final potential pit stop. I was hoping unless we crash, but now 2 tires did the trick because we come out in P5 and go back green here. As you see around us, we got David Reagan, Matt Tifft, Ryan Truex, Tyler Reddick, all of them looking for their first win of the season, and obviously now let's go down into turns 1. Reagan, though, has a win in a few races. He won Talladega in 2013, Daytona in 2011, so he is no stranger to running up front on the plate tracks here. We got taken 3 wide up the middle on this restart, but we dropped back down to the bottom as I was trying to push Ryan Truex forwards, but thankfully we had the hole to get to that bottom, and now we're going to get to the back of the 13 of Ty Dillon and give him a shove down the straightaway as they're going to go 3 wide for the lead between the Dillon and 38 of David Reagan as well. On the far outside it was Matt Tifft as we come through turn 3. All of a sudden we find ourselves in the second position. We come through on lap 44, 4 laps ago. We pounce to the inside of the 13 of Ty Dillon, run him up the track a little bit, and then get down to that double yellow line, and we have hope from Ryan Blaney behind. We take the lead here in Talladega. Can we get our first plate track win? We come through on lap 45 trying to kind of block both lanes, but then the 12, he gets to my inside there as we come through the tribal there as I was trying to block David Reagan's run, and in the process Blaney pounced on it, and unfortunately we lose the lead with 2 laps to go. Almirola just in front of us. He knows that if he can win this race he won't have to worry about points going into Kansas, but I want the same situation now as we come through turn 3 with still just 2 laps to go, approaching the final lap. I was trying to help my teammate of Almirola if possible. No, they're crashing behind us though. It was the 36 of Matt Tifft who collects the potentially 88 of Alex Bowman and the 14 of Clint Boyer, 2 playoff drivers, one of them being our teammate, which would force NASCAR overtime here in Talladega. Blaney and Almirola on the front row, and here we are in P3 with an opportunity to get our first ever plate track win, as well as punch our ticket into the round of 8 now. 2 laps ago, we're going to get aggressive right off the bat, as we've seen AI do it. Now we have help from the 22 of Joe Willigano. We're going to go 3 wide into turns 1 for the lead between Blaney and Almirola. Blaney's likely going to back out of it, and sure enough, he loses a momentum, but he does not back out of it. He's trying to stick with it, but he falls in line just behind myself as Almirola is going to battle side by side it's going to be the SHR duo here up front on this now a lap and a half to go. Blaney behind me, and then the 71 of Ryan Truex behind Eric Almirola. As we go down into turn 3, we have a much better point situation than our teammate of Eric Almirola, but certainly I want whatever win I can get, especially at a plate track, so I'm not really just going to pull over to the side and let Almirola have it. But now we're a little bit disconnected from the 12 of Blaney, and that allows Almirola to fight back on our right hand side. It's going to come down to one final lap. Who can get the best run now as a white flag is in the air. Blaney behind me, but the 10 has the advantage in the run. As we go down into turns 1, is he going to get clear? Almirola is so close, and sure enough, he gets clear of us, and now he drops down to that bottom as our momentum just isn't quite there as we exit turn 2. Side by side with the 71 of Ryan Truex. We've been in a position like this before last time at a plate track at Daytona. We need to clear the 71. Side by side for second down this back straightaway. Almirola looks like he has it locked up as we go down towards turn 3, but for some reason he jumps up to the outside lane with absolutely no help. We stay on the bottom, and we have help from Ryan Blaney, and all of a sudden we're side by side for the lead with Eric Almirola as we come out of turns 4, just trying to hold on to the win. At this point, as Almirola has completely thrown it away as we come through the tri-oval for the final time here in Talladega. Almirola still up top, but we will win in Talladega.
Driver, that's the win. Nice job.
Win number 4 on the season and our first ever plate victory. Surprisingly, we got a plate track win before we got a mile-and-a-half win. Certainly didn't expect that, as we're still looking for our first ever mile-and-a-half win. We've gotten 2 wins at Bristol Motor Speedway. We've gotten a win at Richmond, a win at Watkins Glen, now as well New Hampshire, and obviously the Coca-Cola 600, and a career win number 7 here today in Talladega now. So certainly a great way to end this one, as well as with the contract news coming out. So obviously the 1-year extension, or 1-season extension with the 41 car before someone else takes our ride in the 2020 DOC. You guys can probably guess who's going to be in the 41 car, obviously, when we leave the 41 with Stuart Haas Racing. But now we are locked into the round of 8. I really felt bad for taking the win from Almirola like that, because I know that Almirola really needed that victory, because we're about to see a quick playoff grid update here on your screen, and Almirola is 1 point out after losing that victory there, as he just completely blew it. If Almirola would have stayed on the bottom, he probably would have had it, and I wouldn't have been able to get past him, but he managed to just completely blow it apart there. But I said after the race, great day for us, time to get as many wins as possible with the time we have left in the 41 car. So 36 races next season, plus what, another 5 or so this season. So about 41 or so, 42 races left in the 41 car, somewhere in that area. So obviously, if you guys enjoyed this episode, though, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's certainly a really good race. Wild restarts. We managed to win. Contract announcements. This video had quite a bit of stuff going on. So in the next one, we go to Kansas, where myself, Kyle Busch, he's locked in on points, and so is Chase Elliott, but there's the 4 that need to get themselves in. We'll see how it goes as we try to help our teammates make it in. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.